yoga moments. Enhance your happiness with the ancient wisdom of yoga.
Hello, everybody. This is the very first podcast of Yoga Moments with the yoga teachers, me, Felicitas Stark, and Krishna Kumar Krishnan. And in the very first episode of our podcast, we want to discuss the main topics about why you can't live separate body and mind, and why the movement of body is so important, and why life is like a stock market, and where all the wisdom comes from. I hope you enjoy. Hello, Krishna.
Hello, Felicitas. Namaste.
How are
Namaskar.
you? Namaste.
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine too, thank you.
Thank you for the invitations and for these beautiful opportunities to share the wisdom and for benefit for everybody.
Thank you for joining and to be open to this idea. And I think we should tell everybody maybe what's the intention of the podcast and where we know each other from and why we are doing this. So first, we met in our yoga teaching program in Berlin, Yoga Academy. That's where we met first time. And me, for myself, I practiced more than 20 years of yoga, but never was in touch of the philosophy with yoga. And so I'm always impressed about your wisdom. And that's why I ask you to share your wisdom with everybody.
Okay. Thank you. So just giving a little descriptions about myself. Of course, like Felicitas, you said about myself, we both met in Berlin and partially in a different years of the teacher training, but we are based in the same tradition, in the same school. To tell a little bit more about myself, or the main intentions why we're doing this podcast is to bring yoga moments. And this is the title of this our podcast. Yoga moments here means that yoga should live moment by moment. Yoga is not just when we come to the yoga mat and we practicing yoga. Yoga can be in 24 hours we practicing yoga. Yoga can be also when we sleeping in the deep sleep state of the minds are in a totally different state. So yoga can be anytime. So from the moment we born until we die, we can be practice yoga. But it's just matter of where the intonations. There it's come all this philosophy element. And to talk about philosophy, before we go deeper into the philosophy and our structure, how these yoga moments will take off, I just want to talk a little bit about myself. I was so privileged to be surrounded with a lot of masters, and also my father is my first guru, my first teacher, and he's introducing all this yoga philosophy, yoga practices, and the ancient texts according to the Saiva Siddhanta Southern lineage traditions. And as a child, constantly listening all the stories and all this fancy construction of the philosophy. As a child, you don't understand anything. Then I learning when my father was teaching, and then but later period when I came to Germany to start a career as a yoga teacher, I started official training, official educations, and when I become a certified teacher, and then start working as a yoga teacher, and then I realized all the wisdom I learned when I'm child, like from age of 7, 8, I don't know, probably like probably 7, 8 years old boy, probably playing, running there and here, because my father was a priest and he was constantly in the action of the spirituality, and I was surrounded with him all the times, and unconsciously all these teachings are completely observed through my ear and stored in my mind and heart. And later period when I'm as adult and I become a professional yoga teacher, and all this wisdom unfold in a totally different extension. And That's make my privilege and my accessibilities of all this wisdom easier to present it to the Western student, especially when I'm living in Germany and teaching in Germany. Sometimes I'm traveling to the east, to India and Malaysia, but mostly I'm teaching in Germany. And I realized because of the depths of the understanding of the philosophy from my childhood and what I learned from my father, it's helped to unfold in a very accessible manner so that everybody can understand easier. And that's how I met Felicitas. That's we how connected because she, I think Felicitas so fascinated how I can talk about yoga philosophy like just like a tip of the fingers. And that's make her fascinated. Not only her, but many students of mine saying that. But the key is the philosophy should be juicy. And I used to tell my student that philosophy is like a spread on the bread. So we are in the bread eating culture, especially in Germany, we're eating a lot of breads. So yoga without philosophy or practice, a sadhana or spiritual practice without philosophy, it's like just simply a dry bread. The yoga philosophy is like the spread. So the bread is like this physical body or the presence of your emotion, presence of the mind, and the presence of the physical body. This all I call like a bread. Okay. So the moment the yoga philosophy come on the top of that, how the yoga philosophy influencing your physical body, how the yoga philosophy influencing your state of the mind, state of the emotions. That's giving the uniqueness of the practice itself. It's like the bread with a good spread. So that's how you're describing how important yoga philosophy into our daily practice.
And why does it help the people? Why, for example, would it be interesting for somebody who is not practicing yoga? Why would it be interesting for a person like that to listen to this podcast?
From my understanding, when you're making this description, a yoga practitioner, okay, that's need to be reframed back again because in the Western society, we said the yoga practitioner means somebody going to yoga studios or practicing on the yoga mats, and then we do the yoga. But in India, we never label that, somebody practice in a yoga studio, it should be yoga practitioner. It can be somebody like dedicated to their work. For example, a painter, somebody doing their normal housework, like for example, cleaning the home or washing the dishes, or how you're doing your daily activities. That can be also practice your sadhana, your practice. The intonation here, yoga practitioners, it should be a mindfulness or how you are integrating certain kind of philosophy, certain kind of principles into your daily life. So if you ask me why this podcast should benefiting all people, not only specifically for the yoga students, what we quoting as those are seriously practicing yoga and waking up in the morning and go to the yoga mat, they do meditations. This also great for these people. Of course, it's benefiting because they're already inside of the practice. They know what I'm talking about. But not to forgetting another category of the people which are completely outside of this yoga community, what we call in the Western, we are try to frame it like a yoga community. There's non-yogi community, like it can be somebody working in the baker or a supermarket. It can be somebody working as a cashier. Completely no idea about any connection with the yoga world. But so what important for them is they also living. They also facing daily basis problems. So from the emotional level, from the mental level, from the physical level. So when you talk of the physical issues, mental issues, and emotional issues, everybody have these issues. Not only yoga students or yoga practitioners, even normal humans, we have problems. So that's why we have tried to bring all these teachings and the ancient wisdom so that it's help our life easier, access to the our problems in a way that we not get suffering, so that we can solve our daily life problems by ourselves. Probably we cannot afford to go to some health officers or maybe psychologists, or you need to some support or some help. not everybody are privileged to have that, but in certain countries they have a privilege to this. In, for example, in a certain places they don't have a privilege. But I think yoga philosophy help these kind of people. It helped them to work efficiently. It's keep their mind and emotion and the physical body healthy. So we can say that everybody want to be healthy and happy. Not only yoga students and yoga practitioners, every humans want to be healthy. Every humans want to be mentally healthy, emotionally healthy, physically healthy. That's why all these yoga schools, yoga studios, and it's become a booming, and it's become a super popularized now after the 21st century. So much schools you see, so much courses, so much names, and so much, even it's become a big marketing. So for example, for the clothes companies and the brandings and everything's coming because it's benefiting everybody. Somehow yoga benefiting everybody. Even you go once a month to the yoga studio to practice yoga, you get a little nectar of the practice. If the teacher taught perfectly, and then they can get one little things from the practice, whatever they did, they can carry this throughout the rest of the life.
What do you think? Because for me, it's always the philosophy works good when you're doing physical work as well, because you can integrate it better. But how would it work for people who cannot do a lot with their body?
You can find a right teacher which specifically teaching that particular your requirements. For example, you have some limitation physically, maybe you have some injuries, spinal injuries, or maybe you have some physical limitation. But this search, it's not just like this. You need to keep on looking. But in case you couldn't find your teacher because of the physical limitations, let's say your working schedules doesn't fit for the visiting the yoga studios. Let's say you're working and you're tired, you are in the high stressful, in that kind of people, instead of go to yoga studio, they can also do physical fitness by themselves. For example, they can do like a jogging, they can do like a simple stretchings, or some people have a different kind of a combination. For example, they go swimming.
Or as we
They
were in India, Krishna, as we were in India, then we were doing a morning walk, right?
yes. For example, morning walk. I would say that morning walk is a part of the yoga physical practice, because if those are having a problems like physical limitations, like senior citizens, if you are like maybe 70 years old, not old people, everybody's like 70 years old, they have a limitation. Somebody like practicing yoga for the whole life, they might have a good fit body. So even they're 70, like for example, my father up to an age of 90, he's completely top fit. He do everything by himself. He never asking anybody. He just physically he practiced so long, and he's keeping his physical body fit.
Yeah.
Let's
And
say the
even maybe
person
doing a walking meditation would be good
perfect.
too, right?
Yeah, you just go to the park nearby your home. You can go around wherever you can walk, even like 30 minutes to 40 minutes in a daily walking, like a normal pace, like a walking morning walk. That's enough for physical. Then you can do some basic breathings naturally. And if you are walk and breathe, automatically your mind will get calm and integrated, which we call in yoga is a union. Yoga, the root word of the yoga, it's a union between mind, emotions, and the body, or mind, the prana, which is the breath, and the body. You can say that these all combinations are keeping a perfect description what is yoga all about. But the question is how long you can sustain this union. So the
And
more you're practicing, you can more longer can sustain this union.
yes. But as well, nowadays people are very stressed and very occupied with work, with their children, or whatever there might be in their life. And it might be not possible for them to do everyday yoga. Well, it is possible to do like 5 minute meditation, and you just need to start it, and then you can expand it if you like, but even like 5-minute workout, 5-minute meditation, in my opinion, is very nice and helps the body. And but not everybody is as well living surrounded by nature and can do a morning walk. So this is pretty hard for people nowadays to take care of themselves and be healthy.
Yeah, it's not necessary you need to go to find a forest or a nice garden to walk. It's not necessary to do that, you know. For example, if you're living in the big city, New York, I know London or Paris, I know the city is busy, the city is buzzing. You especially even they start everybody go to work at like 5 o'clock. They wake up in the morning, they are rushing. So if you don't have a possibilities to go out to walk, at least you can find the space in your living room. You can walk in your living room. You probably, if you like 3 meters in a living room, you can walk from one corner to the another corner. Maybe you have living in the flat where on the 4th floor, you can go from 4th floor to the ground floor like 3-4 times, go up and come down. But here intentions is important. You're doing this climbing stairs up and down. Your intentions here is to warming up your body. Is a part of the practice to make your body fit. If you think you want to go out to walk to breathe fresh air and then to have a nice view for your eyes, that's great. If that doesn't happen, not necessarily you need to go out to practice physically. You can find your space, wherever space. Yoga doesn't need any space specifically, because we said even we just when you put yoga mats, it's like probably 2 meters times 0.5 meter length. This space doesn't need more space in your home. You need to questioning yourself, your limitations about about yourself. Okay, this is me, this is my limitations, and according to the limitations, first you need to look for any possibilities to practice. First, finding a right teacher. If you couldn't find a right teacher, you are your teacher for physical. You can practice physical. YouTube's or a podcast, or therefore these social medias are so much chances you can get it the support to practice, and then on the path of this progress or in the spiritual line, or to progress to get to know you better, you will find a right person. You will meet a lot of people in the way, and then you will go to the next level of the practice.
Yes.
So
The internet makes it possible.
in the ancient times, like not ancient times, ancient time even worse, because for example, let's say your teacher is in the Nepal or Himalaya regions, and a student from South India, for example, Tamil Nadu, or from southern regions, they need to walk months and months and months and months going to the Himalaya regions and stay there with the teacher, getting the teaching, receiving all the knowledge and teaching, and then they come back again to their home, probably months and months and months, and then keep on practicing. And they don't know when they will meet the teacher again, because I'm giving my regular classes. At least my students are seeing me like a weekly basis, like 3 times. If they can't see me in the yoga studio live, they can see me online. So now all these platforms make a possibilities to practice everywhere you go, anywhere. As long as you have internet, you can practice.
So
You can be
there's no
connected with your teacher.
excuse. There's no excuse anymore not to practice any workout.
It's just intention. If you really have a positive intention to do something for yourself, if you have intentions to progress your well-being, I think you will do it. You will take initiative, because you find this is important for me, it's important for my mind, it's important for my emotions, and you will do it.
And
So
sometimes it's just getting started. It's just getting started. And when you start it, don't lose it, because always think about how good it is for you. But as well as we were talking about the ancient times, where is all this wisdom coming from then? All this ancient wisdom you were talking about earlier?
you can't say that yoga belongs to one particular things, one particular all the knowledges of the yoga, all the Upanishads, they can say. You can go very, very old periods like 10,000 years ago or 8,000 years ago, very old teachings. And in India, we had this tradition called Karna Parambara. Karna means the ear, Parambara means the traditions. Karna Parambara means in ancient times, they don't have a possibility to write. Nowadays we have all tech to read and to have the possibilities to have all the texts and things like that. But in ancient time, it's not like that. In ancient time, it's your ear to listen carefully, whatever the teaching, and you reproduce you back through your mouth. So the person A giving a teaching to the person B, and the person B was listened to the person A. After the person A left, the person B carry the traditions and carry the teachings. And then the person B will going to transfer all these knowledges, all this wisdom to the person C. They need to make these texts are very, very short and crisp. So I think nowadays we are so privileged because we have all these traditions are passed. At least we get some of them. We can still practicing nowadays. We have
And
enough.
why is it so important, this practicing of the ancient wisdom, and why does it help the people still? And it's so old. Is it still actual?
It might sound crazy. It's old, but it's still gold. It's
That's why it's
old.
wisdom.
Yeah, the wisdom is old, but it's gold. Because when you see gold, it's never lose the value. Like a diamonds, diamonds never lose the value. You can pass on and on to the next generation, to the next generation, to the next generations. And every time these knowledges, this wisdom are passing through generation by generation. But I only heard from my father the teachings, and he was one of the greatest yogi, for example. I cannot imagine how his living conditions and what kind of a practice he was practicing that times. But I still receive this teaching, right? Me, I'm still practicing some sort of a practice which is still benefiting me right now. All these teachings, it can be teachings from a simple master, a current master from the 19th century, or it can be a teaching, for example, go back up to the Lord Krishna. The Lord Krishna talking to the Arjuna, which we call very famous text we call Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita, one of the ancient texts, which we cannot really telling how old these texts. Modern archaeologists and then scholars, they try to making some time frame when Krishna and Arjunas exist, and then they made it this Mahabharata exist, and then the war happens, and then the text came. This event, the Bhagavad Gita,
Maybe
came
it
from.
didn't happen at all. Maybe it's just a fairy tale.
If it's fairy tale, if it's just some sort of like a fairy tales, but fairy tales never survive for long terms, because fairy tales don't leave important imprints and teachings in a daily life. For example, Bhagavad Gita, it's one of the important teachings for the life. And that's why from the ancient time up to now, people are still reading and interpreting and adapting the Bhagavad Gita into their life, their personal life. So Gita is it's like even you can say that it's like a Quran, or you can say like a Old Testament or New Testaments of the Jewish traditions and the Christians. Anybody, all these texts cannot be destroyed because this can be only carry forward. It can be new interpretation coming, but this text cannot be destroyed. But because the wisdoms are so rich, because the wisdoms are so benefiting for the humankind, until now, it still survives. It's like the sun.
And where does this come from? Who did write the Upanishad, and who did why is it still a treasure, and where does it come from? Well, it's not a religion, a yoga, and the Bible is a religion, and Buddhism is a religion, and but Upanishad is no religion; it's the philosophy for yogis. And where does this come from?
It's very hard to say that it's not part of the religion, because I think until all these Vedas and Upanishad access to the I would say that until 19th century, until all these colonizations happened from the west to the east, until that moment, mostly all these texts are practiced by only religious people, But when you talk about religious in India, religious and spirituality are completely completely merged. They're very harmonic way they're dealing, but these two different things. Because if you meet somebody, they can be very spiritual, but they're not really religious. If you meet another person, he can be very religious, but not really spiritual. End of the day, it's about the self-liberation. If you want to liberate, you can be anybody. You can come from the North America, or you can come from the Europe. You go to India, you said, I want to liberate myself. I want to liberate this existence of myself. Then because the intentions are positive, your intentions are good, you can go and practice. So they don't have this like a frame that, okay, you should be like it belongs to this religious group to practice that. That's why yoga become more accessible for many people nowadays, even though it's accessible to many people. But as I said, in ancient time, yoga was practicing mainly underneath of these practices, the spiritual practices, underneath of the practices, they always have these religious influences. I wouldn't say these religious influences like in a bad way, because these religious influences, it's like just customs and rituals. It's a way of living. Indian communities, Indian life living is different. So in India, probably they live like they're worshipping everything of being, the nature surrounding us, they're worshipping. When you're practicing yoga, you need to respect the nature outside is the same, the nature inside. We said, அண்டத்தில் உள்ளது பிண்டம், பிண்டத்தில் உள்ளது.
Yeah, it was the same when we were doing the detox in Kerala, when I was really detoxing and cleaning my body and my mind. And then I started to clean up my little hut as well. So it's really, and even when you're living in Europe, most of the women who are getting their menstruation, they start to clean up their apartment as well. So it's getting inside the menstruation and outside cleaning up the apartment. Yeah, it's always the same inside and out.
I would say the humans are in the top evolutions right now, because we have all the possibilities to access for the teachings and for the wisdoms. And so many scholars, so many spiritual practitioners, so many people in the world have access to the all kind of teachings. But is it you are ready? These online platforms are booming up like crazy. But end of the day, we have this access to the knowledge and the wisdom easily. It's come to our plate easily. I think we need to appreciate this knowledge. We need to be thankful and grateful. We still can receive this knowledge and teachings wherever you're right now. Possibilities to listen, and whenever you are traveling in trains or buses, or sitting in the park, you're listening the podcast, anything like the possibles to listen and to grow. But the key is your intention to grow, intentions to liberate, because this is very important. This intention to liberate yourself, it should come from inside. Nobody can outside can push or force you to do it. If from inside these seeking for the liberations are started to bloom, rise, and that will be bringing wherever the practitioners to the right path.
But what do you mean with liberation?
Liberations to liberate from our suffering, because when we are born as humans, we suffer. We think that we all the times in happy. No, all the time our life is always up and down. Like one of my teacher, the Mingyur Rinpoche, he said like a stock market, up and down. So because the life is up and down, like the stock market, the value of the stock will be sustained high. Can you imagine the stock market all the time flat like this? So then they won't have any value for that stock. Okay, if the value of the stock also were low, it's also not good. What's make it very interesting? What's make the stock of the some companies or some these markets are interesting? Because it's going up and down, up and down, up and down. That's make it interesting. That's make it powerful. Same applicable to our existence, our life. Our life, if it's just like this, which is not really right, it cannot happen our life all the time same. Even though you are in the bed for 1 week, it's not the same. Okay, probably you wake up, probably you have some different emotions, different mindset, physically maybe tired, maybe good, bad, I don't know. But we cannot have a human existence cannot be stagnant in one conditions. Human existence is really like a stock market.
And like a
And
film, like
yeah,
a film is like up and down as well. Otherwise, it's really boring.
yes, yes, that's make life interesting and colorful. Liberation means we are liberating from, because of this up and down, we suffer. When we up, we like it. When we low, we doesn't like it, and we suffer. And because of this suffering, we need to do something to get away, get liberated from this suffering. That's why all this ancient wisdom, ancient practices, yoga, philosophy, kriyas, asanas, mudras, bandhas, everything help us to liberate from this extreme polarity.
Yes. And that's why it's important as well that people who are really running and stressed out and that they go step back a little bit and get calm again. Like it's always like this balance, like as well summer and winter. It's like always a rise of the sun and it's getting warm and hot, and then in winter it's getting down and all the plants are um, having rest. And that's the same thing we need for us humans too.
Yeah, yeah. When your system asking for the rest, you need to rest. If your system said that no, I have so much energy, I need to do something outside, just do it.
But
You know,
Krishna, we didn't get to the point yet. I think where does this wisdom come from? I mean, the wisdom, the wisdom of the wisdom of the wisdom. Like not like where was it before it was written down?
classically they said all the wisdoms came from the Lord Shiva. The origins of the this Trinity, which we call according to the Hindu culture, we said all these wisdoms came from these Trinity gods. There are three divine forms in the masculine, and then three divine forms of the feminine. And you can say that this like a partners, like a pair, three pairs, masculine and feminine principles. And one is we call creator, another one is we call sustainer, another one we call the transformer, or destroy and transform.
But Krishna,
Mhm.
how can you say that as you were a scientist? That this is coming from God. Is it not like goddesses of Hindu? Is it not more like an energy form?
Yeah, that's why I'm trying to come. You
Sorry.
say if you want to come, you want to say that it's okay. If you want to descriptions or like understanding from the science world, and I can say that because if you are try to analyze atom at in subatomic level, if you are see how these atoms, they have these three qualities there. One, the nucleus and the center is never changed, and the positive and the negative charges are constantly rotating. And these qualities, this atomic level also, we have one, it's constantly creating the energies, emitting, creating or emitting. Emit means to releasing the energies. Another, once the nucleus, the center of the subatomic level is releasing these energies, and the negative charges have to sustain this energy, sustain the energy. So once the energy released, it have to be sustained. And how long, we don't know. It's somehow the negative charges are sustaining these energies. When you talk about nowadays, all these our gadgets, phone, computers, lamps, lights, everything's are sustained by these negative charges. It's not created by the negative charges, it's sustained by the negative charges. But how to destroy or transform them is the positive charges. So if you go to the subatomic level, in the science we have this neutral or nucleus plus positive charges and negative charges. This have the own way to deal with this, how these energies are working. That's how in ancient times in India, you cannot describe now, like now, 10,000 years ago or 7,000 years ago, you cannot say that nucleus and negative ions or positive ions. They need to find some easy way to describe that. That's why they created this trinity: the creator, the sustainer, and the transformer. Remember, sometimes the third one, they say the destroyer. They can be translated as a destroyer. It's not really destroying, because energy cannot be destroyed. And this is a rule, and physics say that energy cannot be destroyed, energy only can be transformed. It take another new form. So all the energies can be created, it can sustain and transform to another form. So, and these are three form we call Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva, or Brahma, Vishnu and Rudra. And this is in a masculine form, and it's a pair with the feminine form. We have for the Brahma, the pair is the Saraswati, the knowledge, because if you want to create something, you need to have knowledge to create. Okay, and then to sustain negative ions, what I'm talking about, Vishnu. Vishnu is something like we call full bloom, beautiful person. Vishnu have a richness. He have a life, his life, and we said Vishnu's here. Is the one sustained, like the chest part, the digestion part, the Manipura chakra, the Anahata chakra, in this, our thorax. This is the part we are in a physical form. In a tantra, we call this is the part where the Vishnu stays, because Vishnu is the one sustaining. If you see this body, how this body is sustaining for proper digestions from your abdomen and proper respirations. For these are sustain this body. And then when you go to the third transformer, the Shiva, before that, to see the feminine principles from the Vishnu, the sustainer, it's we call Lakshmi or Mahalakshmi. Mahalakshmi is the goddess from the wealth. To sustain, you need wealth. Wealth means here not money, not to mistake that. Wealth means well-being. If you want to be well-being, if you want to be sustain your life, probably you need a good food, probably you need a good air, probably you need positive environments, everything, not only money, but everything, a good family, a good nature, everything consists of the sustaining this well-being of the energy, which called Mahalakshmi or the Lakshmi. And then we come to the third forms, the transformer. The transformer, which we call Shiva. Shiva is much more connected to your pituitary glands or anything connected to your brain here in your head regions, because whatever you want to transfer, it's here. Anything happen here below your eyes, eyebrow and down, which we call created. You know where we are created. Everybody know that in Swadhisthana chakra, in your second chakra, sacral, where through your conjunctions, the man and woman conjunction, we created. This is we call this part of we call Brahma reside. Okay, Brahma reside there, and then come to the being of the sustainer, the Vishnu here. and then come to this head, which when we can, after this, have all the energies created, sustained, and you come there, you can transform that energies to any forms. Let's say you created this energy from the down towards the up, and this energy can be transferred something beneficial. And this the how all these wisdoms and philosophy are created
And the
in ancient
lady,
times.
and the lady for Vishnu,
The lady from the
as
Vishnu
the
is
female energy for Vishnu. What was
the
that? Sorry.
Mahalakshmi.
Maha-
Lakshmi.
No, not Vishnu. What's
The Shiva.
feminine form for Shiva? Yes.
Shiva. The feminine form from the Shiva we call Shakti.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course. Shakti. But the transformer, if you see this a sustainer and the creator, they have this big clarity, the difference between the feminine and the masculine principles really clearly. But when you come to this transformer, both of them have equal qualities to transform them. We said in a tantra, we said that up to here they're not met each other. They are like they are just melting together. This feminine and the masculines are melting together. It's
Like
also,
the-
I can say, that's beyond gender. It's not feminine, it's not masculine, it's a little bit the melting together. It's like I would say that another example, I would say that, let's say the sunrise is something like a coming born, and which we call this could be Brahma. That's why we say this Brahma Muhurta. In ancient time, people waking up like 3:30 in the morning to practice, because this Brahma Muhurta, where the Brahma starts, the Brahman, the everything's starting, initiating. It's very good to and very healthy to wake up like 4:30. Like for example, if you're living in the Europe, wake up like 4 o'clock, 4:30. That's a time to practice. Perfect time to do. I cannot imagine if I teaching yoga. Okay, I'm changing my classes every morning 4:30. Nobody will come probably. Maybe some people will come. I don't know. Okay, you will come. Might come.
I will.
But this is we call Brahma Muhurta, because this is the moment the Brahma created. It's the access of all the possibilities of the creations. So it's the best time to practice spirituality. You sit and meditate. Whatever you want, you will come. So much things are creating that.
At
And
3
then the
o'clock in
day
the morning.
It's a morning like a 4:30.
4:30.
4:30. If we say it like 1 hour before the sunrise,
Oh my God.
technically, before the sun come to the horizon, like 1 hour before the sun going above the horizon, then we said Brahma Muhurta. Because in Europe and North Hemisphere or South Hemisphere, like these two hemisphere which are away from the equator, we have this time difference. But when you're living like South India or close to equator, we have almost like a day and night almost equal. So then you don't have a big difference.
So could we say that the wisdom is coming from the sunrise?
Yes, when you wake up in the 4:30 in the morning, and when you realize something coming there from outside. Remember, I said whatever you see outside is inside. Whatever you see inside is outside already. So this wisdom was coming is in a form of the sunrise in the morning. The energies are rising, not only outside. The energy also rising within yourself, and then throughout the day you get these all actions to sustain. You waking up, you do the sadhanas, and you do practice everything. This is to sustain this energy, to refine the energies, how you are being. So maybe you do the Surya Namaskar, maybe you do the pranayama, maybe you do the any kriyas, any practices. This to sustain this energy in the body, because if you get it, and then you need to do something with that. And then later, the period, I would say that the period where it's a transiting between the sunset into the night, this transiting period, it's the transformations happening that all these energies are transforming in the evening. Can you imagine the heat produced in the morning, you have to transform into the coolness in the evening. And these transformations are beyond the gender. Beyond the masculine principle is beyond the feminine principle.
Melting.
So, yeah, it's a melting. And that is the place where this old wisdom start to do making fruit, like it started to open up. So all
In the
the
evening.
in the evening, but that means you start the practice in the morning, but you get the fruit in the later in the after, like we call dusk. In English, we
And
call dusk,
and
where
what
the
kind of
sunset
fruit?
period.
And what kind of fruit is it then, Krishna? What, for example?
Fruit can be the outcome from that particular energies, whatever you're practicing. It can be anything.
So then there
Liberating.
should be an intention as well in the morning.
Yes, you set the intentions. You want to, maybe you have intentions for dealing with some emotions or some physical body. Or for example, I can give a very banal example. Maybe many people are suffering, for example, from cancer. Cancer, one of the number one, still killing a lot of people unknowingly or knowingly. So, for example, if you are going through difficulties, there are a growth of the unknown tumor in your body, and you can wake up in the morning and you set the intentions. You want to heal that particular tumor, but of course, don't take it like me. I'm telling, I'm not a health professional. So if somebody like listening this podcast, if you're in a late stage of some cancer treatments, you need to get help. You can apply this method later period when you get stable, or if you're healthy, you're healthy, or you go to doctor, they said the doctor maybe they found it some little tumor in your body, but they said this tumor not really big enough to make it dangerous for your body. You can wait sometimes. You can heal yourself. In that context, you wake up in the morning, you're setting up the intentions to heal that tumor. For example, in the morning you wake up, you set the intention. This is the energies are start to born. These intentions are positive intentions, are very, very important. This is how the energies are born. And then, of course, to that you do the pranayama, do some kriya, you do some Surya Namaskar, asana practice, anything you practices, you do that. And all these practices, later period, it's getting the fruit. See what is your intention. Your intention want to heal the tumor, and you did the practices, and then the healing process is the fruit.
During night.
So, yeah, the healing process is the fruit. So after some months practices, maybe we have like a little formal practice in tantra. We said if you want to apply any methods, you need to do at least 48 days practice. 40 to 48 days.
Okay, so this can happen with anything, but we have to admit here that you were having cancer, right?
Yes, I'm going through also the same. That's why I'm sharing this. And once I get the diagnosis, it was pretty shock. And but then once the doctor said no, we have to do surgery, but this surgery can be very dangerous. And because of the surgery, I can be paralyzed, and also I can be in a coma. But anyhow, once I receive this shock, I can collapse. I can be depressed. I can be completely in the hell. But what I decided, okay, not to suffer in that way, I set the positive intentions. Okay, I'm going through the surgery, and after the surgery I need to heal from inside. And what helped me is, after the surgery and the healing process, it's what I'm talking about. I'm set the intentions to heal from inside. To heal that, whatever I need to do, I will do. For example, if I need to go to do panchakarma, Ayurvedic cleansing, I will do that, because that is how I'm organizing and sustaining the energies, whatever I'm setting my intentions to heal my neck, my intention to heal the tumor on the close to the brain. So once you already set this positive intention, if you sit not doing anything, nothing will happen. You need to do some actions. So
Okay,
these actions can be anything. You just do a lot of pranayama practice. You taking some, for example, what really helps me, go to the ocean to swim. I really, two things really help my healing in a form of the actions. Is one, going to the nature, forest, mountains. Second one is the really going to do this panchakarma Ayurvedic cleansing, which Why I'm saying Panchakarma and Ayurvedic cleansing is helped me, because my body was destroyed with so much drugs, which inside I need to get rid of that. And to sustain that, I try to go to these alternative healings. It's helped me to rebalance all these energies. And these two things are really helped me to come back to the state where I can really healing faster. And everybody talk about the self-healing nowadays. And I'm talking about some extreme conditions, these tumors can be extreme conditions. It can be not up to that extremes. Everybody's suffering in many layers: mental suffering, emotion suffering, physical suffering. They have more sufferings. So whenever you have some sort of a suffering state, you need to find intentions and do something, sustaining this energy, sustaining the intentions, and then you get the fruit, which we call the transforming.
And Krishna, you always tell when you are doing your lessons, and you always say, start with something simple. And now you were starting with cancer right away, but maybe maybe you can just give a simple example in like something everyday life. What you maybe like a goal, setting an intention, and how it can transform to a fruit, like a small thing for starting to practice.
Yeah, in a daily basis, everybody have when you come back in the evening to your homes, you want to be peace. You want to be sleep peacefully. Many people have a struggle sleep, they like to have this sense of the ease, sense of the relaxed. So you can set the intentions. I want my my day, my week will be pleasant week. Set these intentions. Or let's say you have some task from your work, you have to complete some task from the work, you need to complete some anything in your life, importance in your life. So before you jump into it, you need to set the intentions. So because without setting intentions, is like energies doesn't come. Without intentions, nothing will grow, nothing will come, nothing will born. So if nothing will born, you cannot nothing to sustain, and nothing will be transformed. So the intentions, the key, which can be sustained and then transform later period in the life. It can be small thing, like when you wake up in the morning, you want to feel free and relaxed. Or if you get a little headache, you want to feel less headaches for that particular day. Or you want to sense loving yourself. Some people hate themselves. They said, and they're not good enough. I'm not beautiful enough, so I need to I'm sad of that. It's a small something like that. You set the intentions, loving themselves. I'm going to love myself.
And
That's the
48
intention.
days. 48 days, you said, right?
Yes, minimum 42, and then you can extend up to the 48 days.
Okay.
Do every day same intentions, and do any kind of little practice. If let's say I want to do, let's say you are in the, because nowadays in the modern big cities, people are always struggling with the self-love. Not many people are loving themselves. They have this self-hatred, for example. So you can set the intention, I'm going to love myself in a 48 days. Not in a narcissistic way. I'm talking something very yogic way, very wisdomful way, so that it's also benefiting you and others. Sometimes in a narcissistic way, I'm going to love myself. It's going to affecting other people if you do narcissistic way, because narcissism means I'm the most important, the others are not important. But in yoga or in a wisdomful or way, we said, if I'm going to love myself, that means I'm going to love also the others. Automatically it will come. So but you don't put intonations about others right now, because the moment you set the positive intention, I'm going to love me compassionately, and then automatically that will become transform, your qualities will come to the others.
So do you have done a homework for our listeners for listening or for doing, better to say, some homework for until the next podcast?
Yes, I like to give a small I would call homeworks. I would say there's something you can think about that for the until the next sessions. And next, what you can do that you take a moment. You wake up in the morning. Naturally, you wake up. Probably the weekend could be the best because you don't have a hurry, no alarms. You wake up in the morning, and you can wash your brows, face, everything. No, not maybe you can drink some water and find a place to sit quietly. You can sit in the sofa, you can sit on the floor, wherever you can sit, or even you can sit upright positions on the bed. You can do it wherever you can sit quietly and set these intentions. What you want, what right now, what you feel, which kind of a state of the emotions and the mind, or physically or mentally, emotional, doesn't matter. What is important for you right now in your life? You ask this question, you will get one answer, and set the intention there. Okay, this is my focus. I need to make my body healthy. I want to make my stress less. I want to make my minds free. Anything can be. And setting these intentions is the basic rule of the thumb in the spiritual practice. Setting positive intentions. I'm not thinking, oh, my neighbor have bought a new house with a 3 floor and have 2 cars and blah blah blah. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking something personal, what you feel and how your minds and how's your physical body, what you really need right now, and then for that set the intentions. That's the first basic thing. Even I ask everybody to do that, it takes some time to set the intention because we don't know what we want. Sit
I know.
and think about that. Sit and
Let me
think
just
about
look.
that and contemplate about that, about the intention. If you plant the right seed, you get the right fruit. If you plant the wrong seed, you get the wrong fruit. Okay? So we need to plant a right seed. For that, first we need to set the intentions. Before we setting the intentions, we need to questioning ourselves. We call in yoga, we call self-study, swadhyaya. So you need to just contemplating and reflecting what I really need, where I am now, right now. Am I happy? Am I free? Am I in the stress? Is it my emotions are bad, or my emotions are happy, or my physicals are healthy, or my physical body is not healthy? If I'm eating a good diet, am I eating unhealthy diets? Am I drinking a lot? Am I smoking intoxications a lot? This kind of emotions important for the excess. And then you set the intentions. After you do this for a couple of days, asking the checking, cross check, and then naturally you can set the intention. Okay, this I want to, my intention to quit smoking. I don't want to bring more intoxication to my body. So you can make this a little homework. What you call it, homework? I would call it that is a little progress towards your liberations, one step closer towards your liberations. So you are loving yourself, you're checking yourself.
Thank you, Krishna, for the homework.
Thank you, Felicitas, and
And
I'm
for
really
wisdom.
hope these first introductions sessions open up a lot of questions within yourself, and also open a lot of curiosities. What's come next? I'm looking forward to share these precious wisdoms and knowledge in a humble way, and as long as if you can help in a small drop in your life, that will be humble. Will be very happy for that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm not sure if you told like the Saraswati and Brahman and like a female and male, but then it stopped because we got dragged away somewhere else. Is there anything more to say? Like these 3 male female energies, where the wisdom comes from. What's the next step then?
I think I already started talking about it. The energies it started from the Brahma, and then Saraswati, the one creating all these knowledge and creator together. And then these all energies are sustained by the Vishnu and the Lakshmi, sustained in a form of the wealth, sustained in a form of the life, and then it's going to the higher consciousness in a form of the Shiva and Shakti, which is transforming these all energies. Remember, energy can be transformed in the form of the knowledge.
Yes, yes, but
This knowledge came later. For example, Upanishads. This knowledge came in a form of the Rig Veda, Yajurveda. It's become Vedas. Upanishad. It came like that. And then I'm talking about something like me, like some saint, like ages ago, some saint, somebody, they taking all this energy from the outside, because I said whatever inside is outside, whatever outside is inside. Okay, these Vedas, this Upanishad already outside, but it's not structurized. It's not structurized. And how they structurize? Because the rishi, the saint, or they take it, that energy, they let it born within themselves, sustain that with their practice, and when they go to the head regions and then transforming them, and once it's transforming, this energy, what they are born, this seed are transforming in a form of the some amazing, remarkable wisdoms like what we have now. So that's why all these ancient yogis are write amazing texts. How, where it came from, I don't know. You can ask me how I know a lot of things. I don't know. I don't know where this wisdom's coming from. No, I have no idea where it's coming from. I cannot say that it belongs to me. No, I cannot say that it belongs to me. No, absolutely no. I'm just sharing whatever outside. I'm just taking it, let it born within myself, and sustain it within myself, nourish that energy, and I'm trying to bring to my higher being, my and then transforming into in a form of whatever I'm saying to you. And it's coming the podcast.
yeah,
Yoga moment.
very good. Thank you for explanation. Thank you for the explanation. These very complicated things. I've got the opinion you don't hear it often. Explained it in such a detail. Thank you for sharing, Krishna.
Okay, so we did.
We did